Okay, so I have a serious question. Does anyone play Cyberpunk anymore? Like, I know that people do, but like, since its inception, does anyone really play Cyberpunk anymore? And I know it's had its updates and a few bug fixes and all that, but does anyone really play Cyberpunk anymore? Like, does anyone really? Now, granted, I really felt that Cyberpunk had the opportunity to be a pretty decent game, and I did play it, and since then it did have a few interesting elements about it, but like it was just because of the fact that they overpromised way too much that I feel like that was the reason why Cyberpunk really fell that hard. It was just the amount of overpromising. And I mean, this was the most well marketed game. They marketed the crap out of this game, man. But regardless of which, this is an article written by Jordan Mittler, who is a writer at Video Game Chronicle, who continues to say, Cyberpunk designer responds to the lack of police chases. Quote, Elden Ring won't have them either. And he says in another quote, I don't think that Sonic or Elden Ring open world game will have it. Not sure why someone would actually say that, other than the fact that he was probably trying to say something else, but I don't think he really meant to say it the way that it came off as. But regardless, it goes on to say, Cyberpunk 2077 Quest director Pedro Sasco has provided a response as to why the game doesn't feature police chases. When asked why the game doesn't feature police chases on a recent live stream, instead of opting for police to spawn behind you randomly, the developer pushed back on the idea that all, unquote, open world games have these encounters, citing some examples. He continued to say that, quote, I don't think that Sonic or the Elden Ring open world game will have it. While some assume that this was an attempt at a joke, it has not gone down well with fans. Sasco goes on to say that the real reason for the lack of car mechanics was the inability to get it working in the game launch before that, and they eventually had to give up on actually having it. And CD Projekt has recently agreed on settlement terms with a group of investors who sued the company over Cyberpunk's 2077's disastrous launch, without even continuing on about the whole debacle between paying out that much money. With the concept of it being just alone, it was just a simple problem that he said that I don't think it's going to have it or the game will have it, while some assume, no. For the lack of these mechanics won't be there. What was it that he said examples? The reason for the lack of car mechanics was the inability to get it working in a game. And again, it was just like I said earlier, the reason why Cyberpunk 2077 was received so badly was because you simply hyped it up to be that good in the first place, dude. You hyped it up to have these type of things. Like, you cannot have, actually, maybe it'll actually show a few elements in trailer that you can't do. One thing that I just cannot tolerate about video game developers is that you cannot have a video game trailer that shows you doing these things in the trailer, but you cannot do them in game. Like, forgive me, but you can't have a trailer where, I know it's gonna get like kind of left field, but you cannot pay off some hookers in trailer to either sleep with you or to distract someone that you're trying to assassinate as a target, and for some reason you're just not able to do that in game. You should not be able to show off that this interaction right here is going to be something that happens, but it only happens as a part of the story, and it's not something that you can do very, very often, you know? You cannot have certain elements in game where you just quite literally can't do them in game. And to be honest, if you have a cop chase, I feel like this is the regular interaction that happened between him and the guy. This is just the regular stuff that happened between him and the guy, unfortunately. But yeah, you cannot promise things in game trailers and not have them be delivered in game, because no matter who you are as a developer, it doesn't matter. People are gonna feel they're gonna feel like you kind of swindled them on what the final product was gonna actually be. Now, there are things in this trailer that are there in game visually, you know, being shot at. I'm pretty sure you cannot slide over the hood of your car like that in game, dude. I'm pretty sure you can't. But regardless of which, I think the real problem that goes on is that they really overpromise so much, and that's why people are bitten about it. And again, you can't promise things before games launch and just not have them completely. Like, I'm not even sure what I can even continue to say to rant on about it, because Cyberpunk 2077 has quite literally been the example game of, hey, if a developer hypes this game too much, no more video game hype before an actual video game's release. I don't care how many CGI trailers you have, we are no longer gonna fall skeptical, whatever that word is, to video game hype. Like, we are no longer allowing developers to hype us up over a video game, because we know the chances of it not being good is very, very high, dude. Very, very high. But regardless of which, I just wanted to go over this small example of what's going on with Cyberpunk 2077, because again, as they, what was this? Oh, this was just a small example about the fact that Keanu Reeves is actually in Cyberpunk 2077, but Keanu Reeves does not actually play video games. Keanu Reeves has no interest in video games or video game NFTs or stuff like that. He's just interested in playing a character, playing a role, and being inside of these things regardless. And the fact that you actually had Keanu Reeves in this game specifically, it just does not come off as good as it probably could have. And with the new Matrix 4 X, I'm not going to talk about Matrix 4 or anything. Let me focus. Regardless of which, what I like to do is go on and read a few articles and do a little bit of rambling and just keep people updated about certain things that are going on. But if you like what it is that I do, I thank you. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Chaos the Gamer. And as the name implies itself, I game a lot. But regardless of which, I hope you're having a good day out there. And yeah, Merry Christmas and all that good stuff if you're into that. And yeah, to my Bleeding Edge players, GG's. To my Cyberpunk players, I'm sorry, dude. I wanted that game to be good as well, but some things just can't happen. Some things are just way too much of a high budget to be able to squeeze inside of a game, you know? Sorry, man.